This is one of the most exciting news of the year, of course. Shoya Chiba is going to release his first full-length album, still untitled, this year, which is an expectation because they don't announce things early in the year to be released in the next year. So we are going to get a new album this year, or the first album this year, and I'm quite excited about it, although with some reservations. Let's talk a bit about the upcoming album by Shoya Chiba. Let's kick off this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Welcome to SEIYUU Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today we are going to talk about Shoya Chiba's first full-length album, which at the time of recording this episode doesn't have a title nor a release date. So this is going to be quite generic in terms of what we are talking about this album, but still, I'm going, at the same time that I'm talking, I'm going to visit the official website to see if there is any kind of new information about this. I'm quite excited about this one because I feel that Shoya Chiba is really an interesting solo artist. I just feel that he may have missed the mark with Contrail. Slightly, but still, baby steps, because he's learning, he's doing new stuff, he's actually pretty new to being a solo artist. At the moment, there are no details, so I'm recording this in February, so there are no details whatsoever about the album beyond the basics that we have on the website, and that I wrote on the news article at THTFHQ.com. He's going to release his first full-length album this year. I'm betting with you it's going to be in August because he wants to make it special, because he will want to bring that closer at least to his birthday, which is on August 29th. So at the moment, the information that we have is that he's currently working on the album. So there is no new photos from him as an artist. So we still are using the harmonized ones, and there are no details about who is basically working in the lyrics and in the compositions. There are no details whatsoever about if this has a concept, if this is going to bring previously released songs. Of course, do have into attention the songs in Blessing, because it was a mini album, won't be in this full-length album. This is a rule in the industry. Songs in a mini album never ever feature in a full-length album. So we are not going to bring those songs into this album. So there is a possibility that this album only will have 3 previously released songs, the songs in Contrail, and the other ones will be all new songs. I'm excited about this one because this is a really good prospect, because usually King Records is so freaking lazy that they usually bring all the singles released at that time, bring those all to an album and only drop 2 new songs, and they sell it as a repackaged album and ready to go. Actually, they don't even call it a repackaged album, they call it a new album and only bring 2 new songs to the table, which is basically laughing at our faces, the consumers. I understand the idea behind basically encompassing everything in a bundle and sell it, but if you already previously released the songs and people actually previously purchased the songs, it is really redundant to make that compilation in some way. Either you announce that the album is going to drop later on and you are releasing the singles that will be featured in that album and people will hold off from purchasing to purchase the physical album, or just do things in a different way. King Records really annoys me with that strategy that they have. It's quite predatory in some way, because they are doing these almost like the South Korean music labels do. An artist releases 5 to 6 singles within 2 years, really quick succession singles, and then they announce an album, and the album features all those 6 singles, and then they bring 2 new songs there, and they say, this is an album, it's for sale. My friends, that's a best-of album. That's not a new album. That's a best-of album with 2 bonus songs. But still, rant aside, and I'm already going on a massive tangent, Shoya Chiba is going to release a full-length album. The songs in Blessing are not going to be featured here. I believe they will follow the industry rule, basically, of songs in an EP or a mini album never feature in a full-length album. Never, ever. Because a mini album is almost like an album. You are not going to repeat those songs unless you are creating a best-of album. So we are going to perhaps get the songs that were in Contrail within the CD. Fair enough, 3 old songs in a CD that is fairly new. So at least if 2/3 of an album is new for me, I will consider it a new album. But if you just bring all the previous songs into the album and bring 2 new ones, that's not a new album. I will not consider that a new album. I will consider that the best of album. Even if King Records is trying to sell me a new album just because the cover is new. Yeah, so this is something that I'm quite excited about. We are getting tons of new music. I really want Shoya Chiba to actually write more lyrics to this album and to make this album more his and less about what King Records or King Amusement Creative want him to sing and more about what he wants and loves to sing. I would love to see more personalization of his albums and his music because I feel that Blessing was so much of that. That Contrail felt really weird because it was basically none of that. So I would love to see more personalization to what he wants to sing, and I would love to see him basically write more lyrics to his music. He's a really good lyricist, he has a lot of talent, so I would love to see that happening. At the same time, I would love to see him collaborating. Since King Amusement Creative and King Records are actually the same label, the King Amusement is the subsidiary more focused on SEIYUU and anime. If SEIYUU want to become really serious about their music, they usually are graduated to King Records like Shotawe was recently. So I feel that we can have a collaboration of some sort, and I would love to bring in Hazuki, who collaborated with Shotawe for the song Fall, to actually collaborate with Shoya Chiba because I feel that the fit would be even better. Shoya Chiba loves rock music and especially heavy rock music, and he has not only the capabilities to perform screamo, but also he has the sensibility to perform really good cleans for rock music. And I feel that bringing Hazuki here to help us as a producer or a composer would be a really awesome thing. Still, if they don't collaborate, I would still love to see a variety of composers, or at least 1 or 2 composers actually working close to him to ensure that there is a cohesion in terms of the sound and the vibe of the whole album, and that cohesion is not only done by the mixing itself or the mastering afterwards. I want to have a CD in which I can listen to from start to finish and say, yeah, I can feel there is a concept in here, even if it is something really shallow or really generic or something that is not meant to be too deep or too overanalyzed. We don't need everyone to be a Soma Saito or a Makoto Furukawa. We want, or at least I want, artists to bring in a bit more of their personal side into the music. I know that everything they sing is all immediately personal, but if they have a hand at it, if they are playing the guitar, if they are composing the songs, or if they are writing the lyrics, that's completely different in terms of the personalization and the emotional depth that you can have in a song. And I feel that Shoya Chiba is lacking a little bit of that because King Records is not giving him the complete control he needs to sound absolutely amazing. So I'm expecting some control to be given to him because it is a full-length album. But yet again, it is King Amusement Creative, so I'm not holding my breath because I know how they work with Mamoru Miyano, with Shotawe. So I'm not holding my breath. Still, I'm quite excited about this album. It is his first album. He's actually pumping releases quite fast. We had the EP for his debut, we had the single for his birthday, and now we had the digital single in January to celebrate his first anniversary as a solo artist, which was called Harmonize, and now we are going to get a full-length album. It is untitled at the time of recording this episode, so apologies if you are listening to this episode way after the CD was released or the title was announced. Because at the time of recording this, there is no title, there is no description whatsoever of what the album will have. There are no details about the songs that will be featured in the album, so I'm only making suppositions here, predicting that maybe the full Contrail single will be in this album, and none of Blessing will be in this album. So we don't have much to talk about right now, but the excitement is here. Shoya Chiba, and this is a funny thing, if you have been following my work at THTFHQ and some of the episodes here at SEIYUU Lounge, preferably since the start, I've told you that I didn't like Shoya Chiba's voice when I came across his voice for the very first time. I didn't even look at him because I only came across his voice and I was not really fond of it. With time, he improved a lot as a singer and I grew fonder and fonder of his voice. Right now, I love his voice a whole lot. This also goes to show that right now you may not like an artist, but down the line you may end up falling in love with that artist. So don't ever disregard them completely. You may fall in love with them later on. I'm really excited about Shoya Chiba. I feel that he has grown a lot, especially because of his work with Erosion in the Carnelian Blood franchise. Some of you may be thinking, but what the hell is Erosion? What the hell is Carnelian Blood? It is a 2D music franchise, a 5-piece rock band by Reject. And the project is really messed up in terms of its concept and story, but the music is really amazing. And he has learned a whole lot by being around Toshiyuki Toyonaga. Toshiyuki Toyonaga in that band has a supporting role, and Shoya Chiba is the leading voice in that band. Shoya Chiba has learned a whole lot from being around Toshiyuki Toyonaga, and also from Visual Prison. He learned a lot from Toshiki Masuda and Shota Oi, who he is really close to, as well as Makoto Furukawa, that he's from the same agency, as well as Toshiki Masuda. So he has been learning with Toshiyuki Toyonaga, Makoto Furukawa, Toshiki Masuda, and Shota Oi, as well as Yumu Uchida, who is one of his closest friends. When you basically hear those names, you already know that he is actually going to pull off something really awesome if he is learning from all of them. Because all of them have really unique and awesome stuff to bring to the table. Some of them are among the best singers among male seiyuu. By far, Makoto Furukawa, Toshiyuki Toyonaga, and Yumu Uchida are among the best singers among male seiyuu. Shota Oi has one of the most unique voices among male seiyuu. He's a terrific singer and performer, has some of the most crazy and innovative concepts in his music. And Toshiki Masuda has a unique theatricality to his voice, a result of his vast experience with musical acting. So I feel that the drama, the technique, the really high notes, he was learning from one of the best, if not the best tenor among male seiyuu, Toshiyuki Toyonaga. Is unbelievable. Also, is a massive fanboy of Soma Saito. So, if you see all these references that he has as a singer, as a performer, as an artist, you see that he is only going to get better and better. And I'm quite excited to see how all of these pans out, and as well as how all of these ends up influencing a full-length album. I would love to see him tackling a concept and him saying or making a statement that I'm also going to try a full-on concept from start to finish. That would be amazing. But I feel that King Records or King Amusement Creative is not going to let him do that. And instead we are going to get a really watered down version of what he would want to. Hopefully not, but once again, I'm not holding my breath. It's King Amusement Creative that we are talking about. They are not known for giving a lot of freedom when it comes to creating music. So yeah, this is all that I had to say right now about Shoya Chiba's first full-length album, which is currently untitled. I'm excited, a bit reluctant about a couple of things, but really excited in the end. But this one I will need to actually confirm that we are not getting a rehash of Blessing into this album. If they confirm that it's only maximum of 4 previously released songs, because we are talking about Contrail and Harmonize, for sure the 4 will be in the album. If they say, well, those 4 songs will be in the album, but the album has 12 songs, so 8 are new, I'm all in. If they say that they are bringing songs from Blessing into this album, I will skip this album, at least from purchasing it. I will opt for listening to it on streaming platforms. So let's see how it goes, but I'm positive about this album. I feel that we are going to get 8 new songs and 4 previously released ones in this release. Let's hope it happens, okay? So let's go to the outro. Well, I'm excited about this album. I've said this countless times before in this episode, so by now you are saying, Vanessa, you are repeating yourself quite a lot. But yeah, I'm really excited. And Shoya Chiba has become one of my favorite artists among male seiyuu, and I feel that he has the potential to become something even better, greater, and I feel that he's so close to achieving that he only needs perfect album. And if he manages to pull off a perfect album with this first album, it's not going to be perfect because there are already 2 songs in there that I'm not really fond of. And I haven't checked Harmonize because I'm not going to check digital singles, as I told you before. I'm going to wait because that is going for sure to be in the full-length album. I'm not going to listen to that twice. I'm quite interested and I'm quite excited about what we are going to get there, but if you manage to pull off something close to perfect, I'm going to be really, really happy. But once again, perfection is subjective. What will be perfect for me may not be for you, may not be for another person online, but hopefully if he manages to impress me, I'm going to be really, really happy. And I hope that King Records lets him do what he wants for this full-length album. An album usually shows a lot of the personality of an artist. It shows a vision, a concept, an idea, something that they want to accomplish, and I want to see that happening. Not to be fully guided by King Amusement Creative, but for him to actually guide himself through it. It's going to be a bit of a walk in the dark because he has never done this before of releasing a full-length album, but I feel that he has the talent and the capacity to actually pull it off really well. I'm waiting to see that. Of course, I'm not holding my breath for the fact that King Amusement Creative may not give him full creative direction for this album, but still I would love to see him do stuff that he basically wants and that he loves. Those are two important things. You will notice instantly if an artist is performing music that was given to them and they didn't want to perform it, but they are still being professional about it. And then the music that they really want to perform, or that they wrote, or that they actually gave feedback about, and you notice the difference in the excitement, in the performance. You connect much, much better with the songs because of that. I hope that you guys are actually excited for this album. I would love to know if you are expecting any surprises in the album, and if you could have a sort of a surprise in the album, what would you want to have in there? For example, I would love to have those collaborations with perhaps Hazuki, at least composing or producing a song for Shoya Chiba, or even bringing someone from the label, Yumuchida, for example, for a duet. It would be really crazy and really, I feel it would be quite awesome. But at the same time, if you are expecting any music genres in the album, let me know in the comments as well. I'm expecting a lot of rock music with some sprinkles of acoustic tunes and one or two dance tracks, given that we already have one dance track in there from Contrail. The single had one dance track in there. So I feel that we are going to get at least two, including that one. But yeah, I feel that the album, if it follows the same vibe that Blessing had, it's going to have a bit more rock than pop. Hopefully, because I'm a bit sick of pop artists among my SEIYUU. They are starting to sound a bit generic, minus a couple of ones that are noticed that as well, and they started to pivot their sound to something else, which I welcome with open arms. So yeah, let me know in the comments on YouTube. And remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of SEIYUU Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the THTFHQ's weekly male SEIYUU and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. And if you are listening to this episode on a podcast listening platform, please consider following the podcast and leaving a review. Leaving a review is really simple and helps other people find this podcast and fall in love with male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups. I'll return next week with another episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Thank you for listening and see you guys around.